Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today's video was supposed to be me just CF swapping my 325 IS that has an M52 B28 in it. But instead, we had acquired an M3 shell, so we're just going to build a whole new drift car. I mean, why not? Now you're probably wondering how a simple transmission job led me to wanting to build a whole new drift car. The front and rear on this car has been hit twice, so yeah, you can see where the motivation sparked. And on a side note, sorry for my camera's audio quality. I know it sounds a little weird. I had the GoPro case on. Yeah, I kind of fucked things up. But enough talking. Let's go ahead and dive into this video. Follow me along this journey. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's jump right into it. Let me know if you want any how-to videos on any of the things you see me do. All right, well, I got this shell from a well-known actual FD rookie named Levi Waite. And it was a backup show for sure. You can see how beat and demolished this thing is. But let's get into it. So first we were gonna strip down this green car, get all the parts we possibly can to start this build. Now, I did this build completely alone on purpose. I have friends that will genuinely help me, but I wanted to prove to myself that I can do this car, fully build it, fully wrap it, fully get it running on my own. So that's what I did. My friends helped with a little bit of disassembling the green car, and that was about it. Everything else done to both cars was entirely me and by myself. Oh, it's almost more fun that way. It's almost more of a peace build than a, oh, let's stress because everyone's on a time limit build. But yeah, I don't think I really showed you guys the rear end of this vehicle. The overfender does a lot of cover up makeup for that because, yeah, I mean, not allowed. Obviously, you see that crazy pinch, but yeah. Anyways, let's start stripping this bitch down. All right, first things first is we're gonna get this front clip off. Start draining the radiator fluid. Start draining oils, exhaust off, all the good stuff. Now that that's almost fully drained, I'm gonna go ahead and undo those 3 oil coolant hoses that go to the radiator. Get this radiator off. Keep moving forward. Oh, look, too much plug on. Okay, that had more fluid than I expected, but radiator is finally off. And now I'm gonna do the fuel lines. On the E36s, I tried to disconnect the fuel lines right after that fuel filter you see right there. I find it most easier. I know there's really no specific way on which lines to disconnect, but yeah, I find disconnecting those 2 lines the easiest. All right, at this point, I have all fluids drained, have fuel lines disconnected. All I got to do is fight and get these motor mounts off. I just undid the tranny mounts. So yeah, I think I just need to throw it on the crane and pull this thing out. Now that the motor is out, I'm just going to do a thorough walk around, just inspect anything I see that needs replacing while it's out, of course. And yeah, I see a little bit of oil buildup on this side, so I probably will go ahead and do that oil filter housing gasket, oil pan gasket while it's out, why not? Go ahead, and I'm going to throw a ZF on this as well, so that get rig will be coming off. And yeah, got a lot of work to do. Let's just keep at it. All right, so the next task was to drop this front subframe. I found it easier just to do the shock bolt, that 1 angle kit bolt, and then the subframe bolts, and just drop that thing down as 1 unit. And also my buddy Kobe stopped by to give me a spark of motivation with his M3. Still pretty stock on the inside, fader seat, M-Rain, shift boot. Good motivation. The cars are actually the same color that Schwartz or whatever. I don't know how the hell you say that shit. That Schwartz black. Yep, the rear's next. All we got to do is undo these hydro lines, brake lines, and you already know all the rear subframe bolts, shocks, all the good stuff in the rear. Drop it down. So I'm gonna just move this outside and that car in. So I had to call my friend with the tow truck to help me move that shell out and get the M3 shell into the garage. Yeah. And once we moved the M3 shell into the garage, I'm not done with this shell quite yet, so I just left it in front of my house, in front of my garage, until we collect everything we need. And now that we finally got the M3 shell in the garage, I can inspect the M3 and see everything it needs before subframes and the motors and everything goes back in. And right off the bat in the bay, I noticed one of the main clutch lines that goes to the master cylinder on your clutch pedal was cut. So I had to run down a whistle and bearing, a place that handles all your like hydraulic needs, lines, presses, whatever. And they made me this contraption. Looks pretty damn good. So I went ahead and threw that on just because we don't want to struggle with that when the motor's in there. And you guessed it, that wasn't the only thing wrong. There was also wires cut on the main connector, one of the main connectors. So yeah, we had to depin that splice wires. And as you can see, one of them is a purple and green wire, which is to the freaking fuel pump. I don't know who would cut that, but yeah, let's get that fixed. So the finished product looked like this, not the neatest, but it works perfect. Shout out to Falk MFG. Without their depinning tools and their other little special pliers they make, I would not have been able to do this. Now my focus is back on the rear of the vehicle. I removed those garage stick subframe bushings and put in these wonderful rev shift drift bushings in. Looking great. The garage looks horrifying right now, but let's keep working. We're in service mode. But yeah, rear subframe is fully done. We went ahead and put in these garage stick brake lines all the way around. Getting ready to slide this thing back under there and get to it. While I was at it, also threw some solid diff bushings in there as well. And I've also always ran adjustable tow arms, and it'll do for now. To catch you guys up a bit, I went ahead and did that oil pan gasket, oil filter housing gasket, threw the ZF transmission on with the new clutch, and the front subframe as well. I didn't want to take too much time from you guys, so I'm speeding things up. So, the motor is finally in the bay on motor mounts. Now it's finally time to connect everything back together. I pretty much spent the rest of the day connecting all the power stuff back, all the fuel stuff back, radiator back on, just pretty much getting it back into ready to crank mode. Now that everything is finally all connected, after a long night, just checking to see if we have power, and then of course we run into our very first problem. Well, can't say very first, but we run into our very first problem why everything is connected. And long story short, I figured out that the fuel pump wasn't getting power. So I did all my due diligence and checked everything, and then it came to pointing at the fuel pump fuse. But let me tell you how I found it, though. I tested for power on where the fuse goes, and I had no power, so I was confused. So I asked my tuner what he think I should check, and he told me to check the wire. It could be possibly cut, like in the firewall or something. And that's when it clicked. I remembered the fuse box lid was removed when I got the car, so I instantly took that back off and literally seen the fuel pump wires cut. So I instantly spliced those back together, and boom, we got power, baby. And of course, we have our very next problem to solve. Okay. Obviously, the transmission has to come back out. So, let's get started. So guys, we put the clutch in backwards. I've ran this clutch 3 times, and I've always put the protruding side towards the transmission. Some reason they changed the design, and now the protruding side goes towards the flywheel. And now I've demolished my guide tube, and I just went ahead and replaced the throwout bearing, even though it was brand new. So did that, threw the transmission back in, put the protruding side towards the flywheel, and now we finally can try it out. It's just multiplying. Now that the motor's running normally, it's time to start getting her pretty again. So I'm sunroof deleting the M3. I'm gonna just rip it down some sheet metal, wrap over it. I've done this a few times and it usually turns out fine. I also ripped out the carpet from the old shell to put into the new one, just because I like carpet. I drift in the snow a lot, and yeah, I feel like it helps keep some of that heat in. Carpet is in. Just time to clean it up now. All mounted up. Got the exhaust on as well. See, I like this. We're making progress, you know?
Don't mind that area. We got to put the hydro in, and then I'll probably button up the carpet around there. But for now, the carpet's in. We're looking solid. Just got to clean up back here, get that wax and shining up on that metal, get my steering wheel in, buckets in, and we are good to drive. And then we're going to go to the exterior, get these fenders cut, get these overs on. These might be damaged a little too much to get these overs on, so we'll see how that goes. I went ahead and did the outside trim with a quick black. I'm going to still wrap over it. It looks terrible.
All right, and to start the process for cutting the fenders to get the over fenders on, I just went ahead and used like where the side marker goes as like a starting point. I noticed it lined right up with the grills. Cut there and then cut the out. And then sit your overs on it, kind of see where you want it, kind of feel it out, tape it, do whatever you got to do. And this is when you know you cut it well, once it's just floating there on its own. We have not one mounting bracket, screw, or tape, glue, or anything on there yet. All I'm doing is riveting it down, calling it a day. Yeah, so this side was pushed all the way in. And so the same thing with this. I mean, still can do some straightening, but hey, over fender ready, I think. Same thing for the other side. Good ass square cutout. Cut some of that and follow the line. And I cut right before, obviously, our mounting. Poly rear windshield finally in. Finally got the bucket seats put in. I think we are finally ready to wrap this thing. Show you a quick walk around. Now this wrap's called Rhine Green, but it looks awfully blue in certain lightings. Drove her around my neighborhood for a little bit, and she did absolutely amazing. So I think it is finally time to get this thing wrapped. Yes, we finally get to take her outside today. Ripping all the plastics off. And let's get on this street. Now, the car did absolutely amazing everywhere we went, except we had one issue. The speedo doesn't work. So I'm going to check out the sensor on the diff and also our wheel speed sensors really quick. So currently the only issue I'm having is I have no speedo right now. So what do you know? We come back here on the diff and our wire is cut. That goes right here. So luckily I cut one off the old car and I'm just splicing it, and we're gonna just splice it to those wires and hope for the best. Problem solved just like that. And after I fixed that wire on the diff, the car is doing fantastic. We got a speedo, currently has 0 issues. I'll take it. And here we have it. Pretty much final product. Just missing really the grills and the side trimming, which is actually in the vehicle, but let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, subscribe. The drifting is about to be on another level with this machine.